If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. That's not just a nice saying, it's a reality check. Success in any field today depends on your ability to work with others. Not just work next to them, but actually work with them, solve problems together, respect differences, communicate clearly, and stay steady under pressure. This is what mastering teamwork and collaboration looks like. It's not reserved for leaders or extroverts. It's a mindset, it's a habit, and it's a skill anyone can build. Whether you're part of a team at work, leading a project, or simply trying to be more effective in your daily relationships, this audiobook will give you tools you can use right now. You'll learn how to communicate with impact, create trust in tough situations, and be the kind of person people want on their team. If you've ever wondered why some teams fall apart and others thrive, this is the difference. And once you learn how to master teamwork and collaboration, everything around you starts to work better, starting with you. You want better communication? You want stronger relationships? You want real success in your personal and professional life? Then start here. Begin helping others before they even ask for your help. This is the foundation of effective communication. It isn't about having perfect words. It isn't about fancy phrases or impressive speeches. It starts with being human. It starts with showing that you care enough to notice what someone needs and then doing something about it. The people who build lasting trust in any environment, home, business, friendship, leadership, they all have one thing in common. They act, they notice, and they don't wait for a sign or a request. They show up with something valuable: support. Most people walk into a room thinking, "What do I get here?" But leaders, communicators, the ones who leave a mark, they walk in asking, "What can I give?" That small shift makes a big difference. When you stop waiting for permission to help, you begin leading without needing a title. You don't need to be the boss. You don't need to have all the answers. What you need is the willingness to offer your effort, your attention, and your presence. You become a better communicator, not just by speaking clearly, but by acting with clarity. When you notice someone struggling with a task, don't wait for them to look overwhelmed. Offer your help early, not because they can't do it, because no one should feel alone when they don't have to be. You want to build a team that trusts? Be the first to step forward. You want to lead people toward a better outcome? Lead by action. People remember how you show up for them, especially when you didn't have to, especially when they didn't ask. And you know what else they remember? When no one did. Helping others is communication in its purest form. It says, "I see you. You matter. I care." This world is full of people walking around with silent struggles. Not everyone is going to speak up. Not everyone is going to say what they need. But you don't need to hear words to understand people. Just pay attention. That's step one. Look up. Look around. Are you present? Or are you only focused on what you have to do? The most effective people, those who communicate well and lead strong, they're not just task-driven. They're people-focused. And when they give, they don't give to get. They give because it's who they are. Think about the last time someone helped you without being asked. Think about how it made you feel. Maybe it surprised you. Maybe it made you feel supported. Maybe it reminded you that you're not alone. Now flip that around. Imagine becoming that kind of person for someone else. That's power. And it doesn't take money. It doesn't take talent. And it doesn't require a script. It takes intention. And it takes the choice to put someone else first, even if just for a moment. Effective communication is more than what comes out of your mouth. It's what you express through your actions. You say more by what you do than by what you say. Words can be misunderstood, but action speaks with clarity. When you help without being asked, it's direct, it's sincere, and it builds a bridge between you and the people around you. If you're a parent, your kids are watching. If you're a manager, your team is learning from you. If you're a friend, your actions define the strength of that friendship. It's easy to be helpful when you're told what to do. It's more meaningful when you act without needing direction. Some people wait for moments, some people create them. Which one are you? See, when you make it your habit to be available, to be supportive, to lend a hand even when it's not expected, you become someone others can depend on. And that's the heart of leadership, influence, and connection. No one remembers the person who stayed quiet when things were falling apart. People remember the person who stepped in when things got difficult. The one who didn't disappear. The one who asked, "How can I support you right now?" without being prompted. And here's the truth. You never lose by helping. You gain trust, you gain respect, and you gain personal growth. Because the more you give, the more you grow. You start to see the world differently, your eyes open to more than your own problems. And that, in itself, changes how you communicate. You become more understanding, you become more patient, and people can feel that. Now some may ask, what if I help and it's not returned? The answer is simple. You don't help people to get something in return. You help because it's the right thing to do, because it builds who you are. Giving without being asked is not weakness. It's not soft. It's strength. It's courage. It's the quiet act of saying, I am someone who lifts others. In your workplace, be the one who asks, do you need anything? Before someone struggles alone. In your family, be the one who notices what needs to be done and does it. In your friendships, be the one who shows up when it counts, even when nothing is said out loud. That's communication. That's connection. That's the art. This is how we become better. Not by waiting, not by wondering, but by acting. By choosing to be a person who helps, supports, gives, and lifts. Before being asked, every time. And when that becomes your habit, your natural way of being, your whole world changes. People will listen to you not just because of your words, but because of the person you've become. Real communication starts there. And that's where your growth begins. When you speak with respect, even when you don't agree, you build trust that lasts far beyond the moment. You show people they matter, that their thoughts count, even when your view differs. You create space for real conversation, one where ideas meet, not clash. Anyone can agree when everything aligns. The real test is how you speak when you don't see eye to eye. That's when respect becomes communication's most powerful tool. It lets you be honest without hurting others. It keeps doors open, even during disagreement. Imagine you're in a meeting where someone presents an idea that goes against everything you believe in. The easy response would be to shut them down immediately. But taking a step back, pausing, and choosing respect ensures your response is heard without closing hearts. It shows you're serious about the issue, not dismissive of the person. Respectful speaking begins with how you listen. You need to pay attention, lean in, and focus on their words, not just wait for your turn to speak. Let them share fully. Let their words land, then respond from a place of understanding. When someone feels heard, their defenses come down, and you've already won a sense of connection. Next, choose words that reflect clarity, not conflict. Replace words like, "You're wrong" with, "I see it differently." Swap, "That won't work" with, "I worry about this outcome." Instead of attacking the idea, address the concern. This lets the conversation stay focused on the issue, not turn personal. Your tone matters more than you realize. A steady, calm voice tells people that disagreement doesn't threaten you. It assures them they can speak freely around you. On the other hand, a sharp tone builds walls. You'll never find a solution when walls go up, but you might discover breakthroughs when respect opens doors. Respectful disagreement also means staying on topic. It means not bringing up old issues or unrelated complaints. Stick to the point. This builds credibility and shows that you have both self-control and focus. People respond when they feel your words are about clarity, not conflict. Timing is another part of respect. If emotions are high, pause before responding. Give yourself and the other person a chance to cool down. You don't need to react the moment you feel blindsided. Sometimes a few seconds of calm can save hours of tension. Avoid personal attacks. Critique the thought, not the person. Say, "I'm not comfortable with that approach," rather than, "You're making a bad choice." You're more likely to influence the conversation when you criticize ideas, not identities. If you're wrong, own it. "You're right. I missed that." Or, "I should have been clearer." These responses don't weaken your position. They strengthen it. They prove you care more about truth than ego. They make others willing to listen and consider your views. Non-verbal cues matter too. Keep your posture open, your facial expression calm, and your eye contact steady. If you sigh, roll your eyes, or cross your arms, you convey disrespect, even with your words. Consistency between your tone and your non-verbal signals builds the trust that respect deserves. Remember, disagreement isn't a problem, it's an opportunity. When you speak respectfully during disagreement, you invite better outcomes. You invite collaboration, insight, and growth. You help others hear your ideas without shutting their own. In teams, this habit becomes culture. When everyone learns to respectfully disagree, decisions become stronger. Relationships don't fracture at the first opposing view. Trust builds, and the team moves forward together, even when the path isn't easy. At home, respectful disagreement keeps love alive. When roommates, partners, or family members speak honestly yet kindly, respect becomes the bridge across every difference. It's proof that connection isn't conditional. It's proof that opinions don't have to break bonds. Be the person who does this well. Be the one who raises their voice without raising tension. Be the one who stands up and listens closely. Be the one who judges ideas, not people. Speak with calm tenacity and humble conviction. Practice this daily. Think through tricky conversations before they happen. Picture yourself staying grounded, choosing respect, even when debate gets intense. Try discussing small disagreements first, like a TV show's ending or a shared chore around the house. Use these as labs to build your respectful communication muscle. When bigger disagreements come, work decisions, politics, values, you'll already know how to speak in alignment with your own integrity and respect for others. You'll hold your ground and keep connection. You'll communicate not just to be heard, but to understand and be understood. Respectful disagreement is not weakness, it's wisdom. It takes courage to say what you believe while honoring the person across from you. It reflects character, maturity, and leadership, all traits that matter deeply in life and work. Over time, your skill in speaking respectfully, even when you don't agree, will become a gift to those around you. It will show up in meetings, friendships, family, and any space where opinions meet. You'll be the difference between a conversation that breaks people apart and a conversation that builds something together. That's the real art of effective communication. It's not about being right, it's about being respectful. It's not just about the message, it's about the connection. It's not just about winning the argument, it's about keeping the relationship. So speak up when it matters. Speak kindly, even when it's hard. Show people that disagreement doesn't mean disrespect. Let your words be clear, steady, and rooted in honor. In doing this, you become someone worth listening to, not because they say words well, but because they speak in the presence of respect. If you want to master teamwork, build trust, and create real impact in your life or workplace, then this one thing matters more than almost anything else. Pay attention when people talk and show that it matters to you. Sounds simple, right? But let's be honest, most people don't really listen. They nod while thinking of something else. They check their phone mid-conversation. They wait to reply instead of hearing what's being said. And the truth is, people can feel that. We all can. People remember how you make them feel more than anything you say. If they feel ignored, rushed, or unimportant, it won't matter how smart or talented you are. They won't feel safe enough to be real around you. But if someone talks to you and walks away feeling heard, genuinely heard, you've earned something powerful: trust. Listening isn't just about hearing words. It's about showing someone that their thoughts matter, that their voice means something to you. When you pay attention to someone fully, you tell them, "You're worth my time." And in a world that moves fast, that kind of presence is rare and unforgettable. This is the foundation of effective communication and real collaboration. Because when people feel heard, they open up, they stop pretending, they offer their true ideas, their honest feedback, and their best energy. But when they feel dismissed, they shut down, they withdraw. And that costs teams, relationships, and outcomes more than we realize. So how do you really pay attention when people talk? First, stop what you're doing. If someone starts talking to you and you keep typing, scrolling, or half watching something, that sends one clear message: this is more important than you. Even if you say you're listening, your body tells a different story. And people always believe your actions more than your words. So pause, look at them, face them, give them your full focus. It might take 5 minutes, but those 5 minutes can build more connection than hours of distracted talk. Next, listen without trying to fix. A lot of times when people talk, they just want to feel seen. They don't need a solution. They don't want advice. They want your attention and presence. So instead of jumping in with your thoughts, sit with theirs. Let them finish. Nod. Say things like, "I hear you," or "That makes sense." This doesn't mean you agree. It just shows you're present and engaged. Then ask a thoughtful question. This is where the magic happens. Asking a question proves you were listening closely. It shows curiosity and respect. It tells the person, "I care enough to want to know more." Ask things like, "What was the hardest part of that?" Or, "How did you feel when that happened?" This keeps the conversation real and builds a deeper bond. Also, repeat back what they say in your own words to confirm you understood. Say something like, "So, what I'm hearing is," or "It sounds like you're saying." This gives the other person a chance to clarify, and it proves you're actively processing what they shared. Now let's talk about your body language. The way you sit, your facial expressions, your eye contact, these all matter. Sit upright. Keep your phone out of sight. Nod when something makes sense. Smile when it feels right. Keep your arms open, not crossed. Small details like these communicate care and attention far more than we think. Silence can be powerful too. You don't need to fill every pause. Sometimes just sitting in silence, letting the other person think or breathe, gives them the space to speak their truth. Don't rush it. Let the moment be what it is. This is respect in action. Listening well also means remembering what people said. Remember the name of their child. Recall that project they were stressed about. Follow up later by asking how it turned out. These little gestures say, "I didn't just hear you, I remembered you." That builds connection on a deep level. And when you disagree with someone, still show them the same attention. Don't cut them off. Don't raise your voice. Don't wait for your turn to argue. Just listen. Sometimes, hearing someone fully helps you see a side you missed, and even if you still disagree, you do so with dignity. Thanks for watching. That's the kind of communication that builds real teams, strong relationships, and lasting respect. Think about this. How often have you left a conversation feeling like the other person didn't really hear you? Now flip that. How often do you leave people feeling that way? This is the wake-up call. If you want to lead, if you want to be respected, if you want to be known as someone others can trust, then be a great listener. Don't just listen when it's convenient. Listen when it's hard. Listen when you're tired. Listen when you're busy, because in those moments, you show who you really are. If you manage people, this is even more important. Your team needs to feel like their thoughts matter, that their input is valued. When they speak, be all in. Don't just nod and move on. Ask questions. Show appreciation. Invite more. And at home, it's the same. Your spouse, your kids, your friends, they want the same thing every human wants: to be heard, to be seen, to be taken seriously. Don't just hear the words, listen to the meaning. Pay attention not just to what they say, but to how they say it. Notice the emotion behind the message. Every time you choose to listen fully, you plant a seed of connection. Do it enough, and you grow something real: trust, loyalty, understanding. And with that, communication becomes more than just talk. It becomes something that strengthens every part of your life. So start now. The next time someone talks to you, stop everything and give them your full attention. Show them through your eyes, your body, and your silence that you're right there with them. Make it obvious that they matter. Because when people feel seen, they step into their best self. They feel safe, they feel valued, and they bring their full presence to the table. All of that starts with one simple, powerful habit. Pay attention and show it truly matters. When you commit your effort, even when it goes unseen, you're building character and trust that lasts longer than applause. Real teamwork and leadership begin long before everyone notices when you're grinding in the background, showing up even when there's no audience. Imagine working late into the night to polish someone's presentation without making a fuss, or quietly tidying the shared workspace before anyone else arrives. It might feel like no one sees it, but your effort sends a message. You care about the group more than personal recognition. Effort that goes unseen is often the strongest kind. It's easy to perform for others, but real value shows when you're consistent behind the scenes. This builds momentum and signals to others that you're reliable even in the quiet moments. Consistency here matters deeply. Showing up on time, staying calm in low attendance meetings, following up without prompting, these are subtle ways you show up for the team. Over time, people notice who's always there, not just when the lights are on. This is about owning responsibility wherever it's needed. Even roles that don't come with praise, whether it's sending updates before a deadline or filling in gaps in a project, the unseen effort sets the tone. It shows that excellence isn't selective, it's a habit. Effort unseen also reflects self-respect. You don't need a spotlight to care about excellence. When no one is watching, you still do the work that matters. And that attitude translates to results that others eventually see, even if they can't track every step. This approach builds quiet influence. People start trusting you because your consistency speaks louder than words or promises. They know if something needs to get done, someone will be handling it, even behind the scenes with care. You might feel discouraged when recognition doesn't come fast, but remember, impact builds over time. Like compound interest, effort stacks up, word spreads, trust grows, doors open, and people come to depend on you. Keep going, keep contributing, keep filling in the details nobody asked you to handle. You're strengthening your relationships, your team, and most importantly, yourself. This habit carries over to personal growth too. It's what sets apart people who achieve lasting success from those chasing quick wins. So focus on consistent, meaningful effort, not on who sees it. Those unseen habits define your work ethic, shape your reputation, and build bridges all around you without needing a spotlight. Slide out of the habit of waiting for applause. Choose to show your best self quietly and consistently. One day soon, even your unseen efforts will become the foundation for your biggest successes. You'll look back and realize it's those late nights, those thoughtful messages, those small actions that built the trust, respect, and results you hoped for, but never loudly declared. Real leaders don't wait to be noticed. They just keep doing what needs to be done. And in doing so, they bring out the best in everyone, often without anyone seeing them standing there. When groups hit a wall, it's not always because they don't know enough. Often, it's because they're not asking the right questions. A conversation that lacks clarity can go in circles. A team that avoids asking better questions can stay stuck. But when someone dares to ask something thoughtful, the energy in the room shifts. Minds open, people think deeper, and real solutions start to show up. In any team, it's easy to jump into answers. We're wired to fix things fast. But rushing into answers without digging into the real problem often leads to short-term fixes and long-term frustration. Great problem solvers don't speak more, they ask better. They don't assume, they explore. Asking a better question doesn't mean sounding smart. It means being curious. It means not being afraid to say, "What are we missing here?" Or, "Can you walk me through how you see this?" A good question isn't about you. It's about opening up thinking for everyone else in the room. When a problem hits, most people jump to, "What should we do?" But there are smarter places to start. Ask, "Why is this happening?" Or, "What do we know for sure right now?" That shift can save hours of confusion. It slows the panic and replaces it with clarity. Better questions build trust too. When you ask someone for their view and you really want to hear it, they feel seen. When you say, "What's your take on this?" it's more than words. It's an invitation. It says, "You matter. You bring something valuable here." It's easy to stay silent in meetings and just go with the flow. But progress is made when someone speaks up and says, "Have we thought about this another way?" That doesn't challenge people, it challenges the problem. It tells the team, we're not settling for half the picture. Some people avoid asking questions because they don't want to look unsure. But here's the truth. Asking strong questions is not a weakness, it's wisdom. It takes confidence to say, "Help me understand that better." It takes strength to say, "Can we dig into that piece again?" And sometimes the questions that seem too simple end up being the most powerful. What do our customers really need right now? What are we assuming that might not be true? If we had to solve this by tomorrow, where would we start? These questions move teams forward more than long speeches or fancy plans. If you lead a team, make space for questions. Don't just ask for ideas. Ask what's not being said. Ask what people are worried about. Ask what they feel excited about. These things shape the way your group moves. Ignoring them leaves blind spots. Bringing them out builds solutions that last. Also, don't just ask questions to one or two voices. In every room, there's someone holding back a smart thought. There's someone with an idea who's afraid to speak up. The right question, asked with care, can pull that idea forward. It could be the missing piece the team needs. Watch your tone too. Questions that sound like blame will shut people down. "Why didn't this get done?" leads to fear. But what got in the way here, and how can we fix it? Opens dialogue. A shift in wording is a shift in culture. It's a way of saying, we're solving this together. Sometimes when teams are stuck, they ask the same questions they always ask. That's like walking in circles hoping to find a new path. If you want new results, ask from a new angle. Try asking, what would this look like if it was simple? Or, what would happen if we did the opposite of what we normally do? Better questions also make space for emotion, not just logic. What's frustrating about this process? What's the one thing that would make this easier for you? Those kinds of questions don't just fix problems, they improve how people feel about their work. And don't rush the answers. Ask a better question, then pause. Give people time to think. The silence might feel awkward, but often the best ideas live on the other side of that pause. Wait for them. Show people you're not just looking for quick answers, you're looking for meaningful ones. In a group, when you ask a good question, you change the direction of the conversation. You shift the group from reacting to reflecting. That's when the real insights start coming up. That's when people stop defending and start contributing. Also, when you ask better questions regularly, it changes how people see you. You become someone who brings clarity. You become the person who moves things forward, not by force, but by focus. You're not always the loudest voice, but you're the one who helps the team think better. And this habit doesn't just help your team, it helps you grow. Asking better questions sharpens your thinking. It forces you to listen more. It helps you connect dots others might miss. Over time, it shapes how you lead, how you learn, and how you live. So the next time you're with your team and a problem shows up, don't race to solve it. Step back and ask a better question. Ask something real, something that makes people stop and think, something that opens a new door. That's how you solve problems together, not by being the hero with all the answers, but by being the teammate who helps everyone think more clearly. The one who asks, listens, and learns. In the end, it's not just about solving one problem, it's about building a habit of thinking deeper, of not settling, of staying curious. When that becomes your team's rhythm, there's almost nothing you can't solve. So, ask better. Not louder, not faster, just better. Because better questions lead to better thinking, and better thinking builds better teams. Leadership isn't just about stepping up. Sometimes it's about stepping aside. In teams, we often think the person in charge should always lead every discussion, every task, every decision. But real strength shows when you know when to take a step back so others can step forward. It's not about giving up control, it's about creating space where people can grow. That space is where trust lives. That's where confidence builds. That's where leadership gets shared and not hoarded. And when leadership is shared, the whole team becomes stronger, not just one person. When you always lead, others might not speak. When you always decide, others might stop thinking for themselves. That doesn't just slow growth. It creates teams where people wait to be told instead of choosing to take ownership. But when you show you trust someone enough to lead, you give them something bigger than a task. You give them belief. Stepping back doesn't mean you disappear. It means you still support, but without needing to control. You guide from the side. You give feedback without taking over. You help them feel capable, not checked on. That kind of support builds real leaders. People don't become strong by being told what to do all the time. They grow when they're given chances to figure things out, to handle something big, to face a challenge without someone standing over their shoulder. That experience is where people learn to lead with courage, not just follow with obedience. You've seen it in teams before, the one person who always takes the lead, always talks first, always finishes other people's thoughts. Over time, people stop offering ideas. They pull back, not because they don't care, but because they think there's no room for them. That kind of leadership limits a team's potential. But when a leader says, "You've got this, take the lead," something powerful happens. The person on the other side steps up. Their body language changes. Their energy shifts. They don't want to let the team down, and they don't want to let you down either, because now they know they're trusted. Stepping back also teaches humility. It reminds you that being a great teammate isn't about being in the spotlight. It's about building a group that shines together. It's about making room so every person feels like they matter, not just the loudest ones or the most experienced. Sometimes someone new on the team needs a shot to lead something. It might feel small to you, but it's huge to them. Maybe it's running the meeting, maybe it's presenting the update, maybe it's speaking to the client. If you always do it, they may never get the confidence, but if you hand it to them with trust, they start building that confidence brick by brick. And when someone leads and stumbles a little, don't jump in too fast. Mistakes are part of the process. If you rescue them too soon, they may doubt themselves even more. But if you stand with them and help them work through it, they grow from it. They walk away stronger. That's leadership development in real time. This also matters when the person stepping up sees things differently than you. Maybe they approach a task in a way you wouldn't. But if the outcome is strong and the method is thoughtful, let them run with it. Growth doesn't happen when everyone copies your steps. It happens when people take ownership of their path. Sometimes it's not even about letting someone lead a project. It can be as simple as staying quiet when you'd normally speak. Holding back a suggestion so someone else can offer theirs first. Or asking, "What do you think?" before giving your opinion. These little moments are powerful. They change the rhythm of the room. They let others breathe. And here's something important. Stepping back is not always easy. If you've been leading for a long time, you're used to being the go-to person. You've built trust. You've proven yourself. It's natural to feel protective of results. But leadership isn't about proving how much you can carry. It's about helping others carry more. Your legacy as a leader won't be built on how many tasks you completed. It'll be built on how many people you lifted, how many voices you helped rise, how many people you made feel capable and seen. Those are the things that last. Great leaders know when to pause. They read the room. They recognize when someone else has the skills, the passion, or the timing to step forward. They're not threatened by that. They're proud of it, because it means their leadership is working, and in doing so, they multiply their impact. Now it's not just one person leading, it's 5, 10, or 20. Now the team doesn't just look to one person, they start looking to each other. That's how teams become high-performing. That's how cultures become stronger. That's how people start showing up with ownership instead of waiting to be told. Stepping back also gives you a new view. When you're not in the center, you see different things. You hear things you might have missed. You learn from watching others lead, and that insight makes you an even stronger leader the next time you step forward. The best teams aren't built on one hero. They're built on shared leadership, on people who know when to lead and when to follow, on people who celebrate each other's wins, on people who understand that growth is something we create together. So the next time a decision comes up or a new project begins, ask yourself, is this a moment to lead or a moment to step back? Is there someone ready to grow who just needs the space to try? And if so, give them that space. Watch what happens when they step up. Watch the spark in their eyes. Watch how the team shifts. And know that in that quiet moment when you stepped back and gave someone else the room, you were leading in one of the most powerful ways possible. Because real leadership is not about being the one in charge. It's about creating more leaders. And sometimes the most important step you take is the one you take back. People don't always remember what you say, but they always remember what you do and what you don't do. In teams, in families, in friendships, and at work, trust is built on the simple habit of keeping your word. When you say you'll do something, do it. That's not just responsibility, that's integrity. Promises are easy to make, especially in the moment. When things are moving fast, when people ask for help, when pressure is high, it's simple to say, "I'll take care of that," or "I'll get that done by tomorrow." But what happens next is what really counts. Following through speaks louder than words ever will. Every time you keep a promise, no matter how small, you tell others that they can count on you, that what you say matters, that your word isn't just noise, it's action. That builds trust, and trust is the glue in every great team. Without it, people start pulling back. They stop depending on each other, and once that happens, things start to fall apart. You don't need to be perfect. Everyone makes mistakes. But there's a big difference between making a mistake and breaking trust. One is human, the other is avoidable. And when people feel let down because you said one thing and did another, it stays with them. Not always loudly, but quietly. In small doubts, in second guesses, in distance. Keeping your promises doesn't require extra talent. It requires extra care. It's a discipline of paying attention, of writing things down, of staying organized, of doing what needs to be done, even when it's inconvenient, even when you're tired, even when no one's checking in on you. And here's the truth. People are always paying attention, even when they don't say anything. They notice when you follow through. They notice when you show up prepared. They notice when you said you'd help, and you actually did. That builds your reputation. And reputation is the foundation of your influence. Broken promises don't just affect others, they affect you. When you start slipping on your own word, it gets easier to let yourself off the hook. Over time, you stop trusting yourself. That leads to excuses, and excuses are the enemy of growth. But when you honor your commitments, something else happens. You build momentum. You feel stronger. You feel proud. You walk into every room with a quiet kind of confidence because you know that your word matches your actions. That's how self-respect is built. Think about the people you trust the most. They're probably not the loudest or the flashiest. They're the ones who say what they mean and mean what they say. They don't overpromise. They don't disappear when things get tough. They show up. They follow through. They get it done. If you want to be that kind of person, start small. If you say you'll email someone today, do it. If you say you'll be somewhere at a certain time, be there. If you say you'll handle something, don't delay it. These aren't giant moves. They're quiet, steady habits that build reliability. And don't forget, every promise matters, not just the big ones. Sometimes the smallest ones, like remembering someone's name, responding to a message, giving feedback when you said you would, can mean the most, because it shows that you care, that you listen, that you respect people's time and trust. There will be moments when you realize you can't keep a promise. Life happens, things shift, but don't just let it slide. Say something, be honest. Let the person know ahead of time. Apologize if needed. That's not weakness, that's character. And that kind of honesty keeps relationships strong even when things go off course. Also, be careful with what you say yes to. Don't say yes just to please people. Don't say yes just to look helpful. Say yes when you mean it, when you can do it, when you're willing to take responsibility for it. A thoughtful no builds more respect than an empty yes. In group work, nothing slows progress more than waiting on someone who doesn't follow through. People make plans around your promise. They schedule things. They rely on it. And when you fall short, it creates extra stress. It creates more work for others. And it makes people wonder if they can trust your word the next time. But when people know you'll keep your promises, something powerful happens. They start inviting you into bigger conversations. They trust you with more. They ask for your input. Not because you're perfect, but because you're dependable. And in the real world, dependability beats brilliance every time. Keeping promises also builds unity. When everyone on a team holds themselves accountable, things move faster. People are more honest. They're more willing to speak up because they don't have to worry about covering for each other. There's less blame and more action. And that kind of culture doesn't happen by chance. It happens when people choose to do what they said they would. Leaders especially need to live this, because when a leader breaks a promise, even a small one, it affects the entire team. It sends the message that it's okay to cut corners. It creates a double standard. But when a leader shows up, follows through, and keeps their word, it sets the tone for everyone else. And it's not just about tasks and deadlines. Promises can be emotional too. Saying, "I'll support you," or "I'll be there when you need me," or "You can talk to me." Those are promises people take seriously. When you follow through on those, you're not just being helpful, you're being human. This is also true at home, with your friends, with your family, with your kids. Keeping promises is how you show love. It's how you show respect. When a child hears, "I'll play with you after dinner," and you actually do, it means more than they can say. When a friend asks for your help and you show up without being reminded, it deepens the bond. These moments build strong relationships that last. If you want to grow, if you want to lead, if you want to earn respect, start here. Keep your word. Be someone people don't have to chase down. Be someone others can rely on. Not because they're watching, but because it matters to you. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be real. When you say something, mean it. When you commit, deliver. When you mess up, own it. That's how you build trust. That's how you grow character. That's how you make a difference that people never forget. In the end, people may forget the details of what you promised, but they won't forget how it felt when you kept it, or when you didn't. That memory stays. That emotion lasts. So choose to be the person who honors their word. Choose to be remembered for showing up, because your word is more than a sentence. It's a signal. It tells the world who you are. And when your actions match your promises, the world listens. The people around you trust you, and that trust will open more doors than any title or skill ever could. In every room, there are voices that speak loudest, and then there are voices that stay quiet. Not because they have nothing to say, but because they often aren't invited in. Sometimes they wait for space. Sometimes they've been shut down before. Sometimes they don't believe their words carry weight. But make no mistake, those quiet voices matter. They often carry some of the clearest insights, the most honest reflections, and the most thoughtful ideas. They just don't fight to be heard. And if we're not paying attention, we miss out on their value completely. In any team, group, or meeting, it's easy to hear the loudest person, the one who speaks first, the one who dominates the conversation. But that's not where all the wisdom lives. Just because someone speaks often doesn't mean they always see clearly. And just because someone stays quiet doesn't mean they're unsure. Often, it's the opposite. Real communication isn't about volume, it's about awareness. If you want your team to grow, your relationships to deepen, your outcomes to improve, you need to start noticing who's being left out, who hasn't spoken yet, who keeps getting cut off, who nods quietly but never gets asked what they think. Leadership, real leadership, includes the quiet. It notices when someone seems ready to speak, but hesitates. It opens the door and says, "What's your take?" And then it listens not just to the answer, but to the tone, the body language, the courage it takes to speak up in the first place. People who don't speak up often aren't doing it for attention. They're doing it because they believe it's useful. That's why their ideas are often sharp, practical, and grounded. But they won't always push their way in. That means it's your job, if you care about real connection and progress, to notice them and bring them forward. This doesn't mean putting people on the spot. It means creating a space where they feel safe to speak. That starts with how you listen. When someone talks and gets interrupted, step in and redirect attention back to them. When someone contributes a point and it's ignored, acknowledge it and return to it. That tells them, Your words are seen, your ideas matter, I want to hear more. When people feel like their words matter, they start offering more. Not just once, but consistently. And slowly, the room changes. It becomes more balanced, more creative, more inclusive. You don't just get more voices, you get better thinking. That's what strong teams are built on. You may not realize how many people have stopped offering their thoughts because they feel unheard. They may have been talked over too many times. They may have shared an idea and watched it go nowhere. They may have seen someone else take credit. That experience teaches people to hold back, but your awareness can begin to change that. Start paying attention to patterns. Who never speaks in meetings? Who always writes strong thoughts after the meeting instead of during? Who seems thoughtful but holds back unless asked? That's your sign not to pressure them, but to open a door. You can say things like, "I've noticed you usually have good thoughts. What's your view on this?" Or, "You always bring a different angle. What do you see that we're missing?" When asked with sincerity, questions like these bring people forward without forcing them. And when they speak, listen fully, without checking your phone, without rushing to reply, without cutting them off. That listening shows respect. That respect builds trust. That trust unlocks potential. In group settings, silence isn't always agreement. Sometimes it's fatigue. Sometimes it's protection. Sometimes it's frustration. You only discover the truth when you make space to ask. And when you do, people often open up slowly at first, but with more depth than you expected. Teams become stronger when everyone feels heard. Not just the confident ones, not just the experienced ones, but every voice, especially the ones that have been overlooked or undervalued. You don't have to be a manager to make this change. You just need to care. You can be the person who brings others forward, who notices someone's idea being bypassed and says, "I think she was about to say something." That one line can make someone feel valued, seen, heard. Over time, people begin to step forward on their own because they remember how it felt when someone made room for them. And when that becomes the culture, everything changes. People stop competing for attention and start listening. Ideas get better. Trust runs deeper. Collaboration flows. If you've ever been the quiet one, you know how powerful it is when someone invites your voice forward. You remember who did it. You remember how it felt. You remember that moment for a long time. Now it's your chance to give that gift to someone else. And if you're someone who talks often, pause more. Look around. Ask yourself, who else might see something I don't? That one question can change the direction of a conversation. It can unlock a better solution. It can turn a good team into a great one. This doesn't mean everyone needs to talk the same amount. Some people express themselves better in writing. Some need more time to process. Some feel more comfortable in one-on-one settings. That's okay. Inclusion doesn't mean forcing, it means offering. In fast-paced environments, it's easy to rush, to move on when the loudest voices have spoken. But take a breath. Pause. Ask, before we move forward, is there anyone we haven't heard from yet? That simple question can open the door for a quiet voice to step into the light. Sometimes, the biggest breakthroughs come from the quietest places. Sometimes the person who's been watching, thinking, noticing patterns, they're the one with the solution you didn't see. You miss that when you only listen to those who push their way forward. So, notice more, ask more, make space more, invite more. Because when you bring forward the quiet voices, you're not just giving someone a moment, you're giving the team a deeper truth. And that's where real communication lives. In the end, leadership isn't about talking the most. It's about helping others speak. It's about creating a space where people feel safe to share what's real. And it starts when you choose to look beyond the surface, to listen beyond the noise, and to bring out the best in people by simply making room. Remember this, the quiet voices are not empty. They're often filled with wisdom, waiting to be heard. And when you make the choice to bring them forward, you change the room, you change the work, and you help people believe that what they say truly matters. People notice more than you think. They notice who works hard. They notice who stays late. They notice who supports others, who solves problems quietly, who makes things better without making noise about it. But what people also notice is who gets recognized and who doesn't. When someone earns credit, give it. And give it quickly. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't let the opportunity pass. Don't assume they know you're grateful. Speak it. Share it. Make it clear that their work matters and that you saw it. Giving credit is not just about praise, it's about trust. It tells people they are valued, that their effort means something, that they're seen, and that encourages more of that good work. When someone knows their contribution is appreciated, they bring more of it not because they want applause, but because they feel part of something real. Credit should never be hoarded. It's not a limited resource. Giving it away doesn't reduce your worth, it multiplies it. People follow those who acknowledge others, they support those who lift others up, and they stay loyal to people who never take credit for work they didn't do. You don't lose anything by saying, "She came up with this idea," or "He's the one who fixed that issue," or "That whole win was possible because of their effort." In fact, you gain respect. People want to work with someone who shares success, not someone who guards it. It's especially important to give credit when the work wasn't done in the spotlight, when someone stepped in last minute to help, when someone held the team together, when someone sacrificed their own time or comfort to get the result. Those are the moments that get overlooked, and those are the moments where your recognition has the most power. If you're leading a team, this habit matters even more, because the way you give credit shapes the culture. If people feel like their work goes unnoticed, they slowly stop giving their best. They show up physically but not emotionally. They do the minimum. They pull back, not because they're lazy, but because they feel invisible. Recognition doesn't need to be complicated. You don't need to write long speeches or announce awards every day. Sometimes it's a quick word in a meeting, "That part was handled really well by Maria," or a simple note, "Thanks for stepping up yesterday. That made a difference," or even in front of others. This idea came from Josh, and it helped us move forward faster. What matters is that the credit is specific, sincere, and timely. Not general flattery, not vague praise, not something said 3 weeks later when the moment has passed. People feel most seen when the recognition is connected directly to what they did, and when it comes while it still matters. Giving credit also builds team unity. It stops competition before it starts. It shifts the focus from individual performance to shared progress. When people see credit being passed around openly and fairly, they stop trying to one-up each other. They start supporting each other. That's when the team truly grows. If you want to become someone others trust, practice this. When success happens, pause and ask yourself, who else helped make this possible? Then speak their name, mention their role, give them the stage. Even if they're not in the room, speak it anyway, because word travels and people remember. And when someone gives you credit, share it, pass it on. Say, "Thanks, but it wouldn't have worked without her part." Or, "He handled a big piece of it. I just added the last touch." That humility strengthens bonds. It shows that you value the effort more than the ego. And that's rare. That's powerful. Some people hold back from giving credit because they think it will make them look smaller. But the opposite is true. The most secure people are generous with recognition. They're not threatened by the strength of others. They welcome it. They highlight it. They build a team where everyone shines, and in doing so, they shine brighter themselves. In fast-moving work environments, recognition often falls through the cracks. People move from one deadline to the next, but don't let that be your story. Slow down enough to notice. Pause long enough to appreciate. Give time to the people who helped you get where you are. It's also worth remembering, not everyone will ask for credit. Some people feel uncomfortable promoting their work. Some come from cultures where humility is expected. Some just don't know how to speak up for themselves. That's where your awareness matters. You can be the one who says, "Hey, I saw what you did, and it was solid." That one sentence can give someone the confidence to keep contributing. Recognition isn't about making people feel special. It's about reminding them they already are. It's about saying, "I see you, I respect what you did, and it mattered." You'd be surprised how far that goes. People work harder when they feel appreciated, not because they want a reward, but because being seen energizes us. At the heart of it, this chapter is about fairness. If someone did the work, they deserve the acknowledgement. It's not complicated. It's not optional. It's just right. And when you live by that principle, you make the people around you stronger, more motivated, and more loyal. The same goes for small wins. You don't need to wait for big projects or huge achievements. Credit matters just as much when someone makes a small improvement, solves a small problem, helps a teammate behind the scenes. These moments are easy to miss, but they're the backbone of progress. So here's the challenge. Starting today, be the person who notices. Be the one who says, "Thank you" first. Be the voice that recognizes effort before anyone else. And watch what happens to your relationships, to your team, to your own growth. Because when you give credit fast, you build more than just goodwill. You build trust, you build culture, you build people up. And in the end, that's what leadership is all about. Not just results, but relationships. Not just progress, but people. People don't always remember what you achieved, but they'll remember how you made them feel. Give them the feeling of being seen, of being appreciated, of knowing their effort mattered. That feeling is rare. That feeling is powerful. That feeling keeps people going. And when you're the one who gives that feeling freely, you don't just earn respect, you create it. You shape the way people work. You turn teams into communities. You turn effort into momentum. So give credit. Do it now. Do it often. Do it without holding back, because someone around you has already earned it. And the fastest way to build something lasting is to make sure they know it. When everything's going well, it's easy to be part of a team. Everyone's smiling, things are moving forward, wins are being celebrated. But the real test of teamwork comes when things get hard. When the deadline is tight, the result is uncertain, and people feel frustrated or overwhelmed. That's when your loyalty, your values, and your character show up in full clarity. Sticking with your team when things are hard is not about pretending everything is okay. It's about choosing to stay engaged, to show up fully, even when things are uncomfortable. It means staying supportive, even when tensions rise. It means not giving up on the people around you just because the situation got complicated. When a team faces struggle, emotions surface. People make mistakes. Misunderstandings happen. Tempers can flare. In those moments, it's tempting to step back, blame others, or protect your own role. But real growth happens when you lean in. Instead, when you say, "We're in this together, let's figure it out." That mindset creates safety. It creates trust, and it brings people closer, not further apart. Loyalty doesn't mean silence. It means honesty with respect. If something's not working, speak up, but speak up with the goal of improving, not attacking. Stay in the room, stay in the conversation, stay part of the solution. That's what builds resilient teams. Every strong team has gone through something hard. Every lasting partnership has been tested. You don't build trust by only showing up when it's easy. You build trust by being steady when things fall apart. That steadiness tells people, you can count on me. And that's one of the most powerful things a teammate can give. People remember who stood with them when it was hard. They don't forget the ones who stayed late, who offered help, who didn't walk away when a mistake happened. They remember the teammate who showed patience when someone else fell behind. They remember who gave encouragement when everyone else was quiet. That kind of presence builds a deep kind of bond. It tells your team that you're not here just for the wins. You're here for the work. You're here for the mission. You're here for each other. There will be times when you feel like walking away, when you're tired, when things are moving slowly, when the people around you are distracted or discouraged. That's when your commitment matters most. That's when your decision to stay makes a difference. If you give up easily when pressure rises, your team will feel it, they'll notice, and slowly, they'll stop depending on you. But if you show up anyway, if you keep offering help, keep asking what's needed, keep doing your part, they'll remember that. And when you're the one who struggles, they'll be there for you too. This isn't just about loyalty, it's about leadership. Because great teams aren't built with just skill, they're built with trust. And trust only grows when you show up through the tension, when you admit your mistakes, when you forgive others, when you give people the benefit of the doubt. When a project falls apart, it's easy to look for someone to blame, but real teammates look for ways to rebuild. They focus on solutions. They ask, what can I do to help move us forward? That attitude becomes contagious. One person showing strength during hard times inspires others to do the same. There's also a difference between staying with the team and being passive. You don't stay just to keep the peace. You stay to make things better, to support, to contribute, to offer what you can. This kind of staying power is rare. It's not glamorous, it's not loud, but it's incredibly powerful. When others walk away, you stay. When others criticize, you focus on action. When others hide, you speak truth with care. That's how trust is built. That's how teams grow stronger. Sometimes, people need time to figure things out. That's okay. Giving someone space doesn't mean giving up. It means you care enough to let them breathe while staying close enough to support them when they're ready. And it's not just about the group. This commitment helps you grow too. When you stick with the process, even when it's uncomfortable, you grow your patience. You build your emotional strength. You expand your capacity to handle stress and solve problems. These are the qualities that last. A lot of people chase new opportunities the second something feels off. But the people who build long-term impact in business, in life, in teams, are the ones who invest. They show up, even in the mess. They learn to adapt. They listen. They give grace. And in return, they build relationships that actually mean something. Your willingness to stay says something. It says you value people over perfection. It says you care more about the team than the spotlight. And it says you're willing to do the hard thing, which often makes all the difference. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to fix everything. You just need to stay, to help where you can, to not run when pressure builds, to choose the team when it matters most. In every story of success, there are chapters of struggle, but it's the people who walk through those chapters together who end up with the strongest bonds, the deepest respect, and the most meaningful results. So if you're in a tough season, stay steady, breathe. Don't panic. Show up with patience. Ask good questions. Offer support. Encourage someone else. Keep doing your part. That's what it means to stick with your team. Because in the end, people don't just remember what you did. They remember how you made them feel. If they felt supported during the storm, if they felt like you didn't give up on them, if they knew you were still standing with them when it counted, that becomes the foundation of trust that lasts for years. So commit to your team, even when it's hard, not blindly, not without boundaries, but with a spirit of loyalty that says, I believe in us, I believe in what we're doing, and I'm not going anywhere just because things are difficult right now. That kind of attitude is rare. It's needed, and it's powerful. It's what great teams are built on. It's what true leadership looks like, and it's how real progress is made together.